And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than a frontline soldier, an activist, and historian, an artist, brilliant in music and writing and acting, but someone who is very effective in his work in the community. And so he's known throughout all races, religions, class, creed, and colors. None other than our brother from Hip Hop Detox, Brother Enoch. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother, and truly appreciate the uh, the acknowledgement to do more work because that's what this is. It's time to do more work so we can get things done and we can follow up and follow through on our Father's business. So thank you very much for the invitation and allowing me to be on your platform.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Well, we want to get directly into it. What everybody seeing flyers on Facebook is causing a lot of traction, and people want to know what is coming up and what are the flyers for, sir?
Okay, well, we've been doing work, and before I even begin, let me just start off by saying, in the name of our Lord, Savior, and Deliverer, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all holy praises due forever. I give thanks and praise because I wouldn't be here saying or doing any of the things that I'm saying or doing if it wasn't for one that came. And then that one that came helped 25,000 plus people in Detroit in Black Bottom to come up out of a slave existence degree by degree. And one of those who he helped, that one, I read his book, back in 1990. He was known as Elijah Poole, and he became eventually known as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I can never thank the Almighty for the work um, and the perseverance of that first begotten of the dead. And I'm surely, man, I'm so thankful to have met his star student, uh, that one who he said has no equal. And I'm so thankful for the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan Muhammad and all those who stood and stand, and that's why the work that you're doing with the People's Podcast is so vital because many times we don't understand the history nor the psychology um, and those universal principles that were utilized to build what many of us sometimes take for granted. And so that's why the historical work of the People's Podcast and you, brother, is so important. And that's why any of us who stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before us, it's important for us to be mindful of what was so that we can understand truly what is and how to utilize those universal principles so that we can move forward. So I greet everybody who is watching or who will watching in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum to my brothers
Sir.
through Shalom Aleichem, to my family who consider themselves any part or any form of Christianity or Christian. I say praise the Lord, hallelujah, and all that good stuff. And of course, on the street, what up, though? So, uh, but yeah, I'm thankful, brother, to be part of a legacy of those who not only experienced what happened leading up to the Million Man March in 1995, but went to the Million Man March and then did work afterwards and experienced all of the gradations of growth and evolving since the Million Man March, whether you're talking about the Million Family March or the Millions More Movement or the Millions for Justice, the Million Women's March, Million Youth March, all the things that have transpired to help us see ourselves on a different level and then do work based upon that new awareness and that new understanding and that growth. So what we're doing is we're part of the link on the chain of growth. So this year is the third annual seminar for Hip Hop Detox's Males to Men Empowerment and Mentoring Work. And this seminar this year, by Allah's grace, will, and mercy, um, we started off with the thought that we would just have 1,000 youth this year because last year we had 240 youth and we partnered with the Chicago State University. And so we thought, well, we'll have 1,000 at the seminar, and we'll have the Emil and Patricia Jones Convocation Center, which seats up to 5,000 people. So we would have that for us to be able to do what we're going to do. And then after a few meetings with different organizations here in Chicago and talking to different schools who were bidding on, sending 100 of their youth, they want 100 slots. And then another school, they want their slots. And then we started getting organizations communicate about how, the Million Man March was a day of atonement and reconciliation and responsibility. But as we talk further, it's also a day of service, and in the city of Chicago, students get 5 mental health days. And so some people may remember Dr. Naeem Akbar said at the Million Man March that that was the healthiest day mentally for descendants of African people who were enslaved and kidnapped and robbed of their identity. That was the healthiest day ever in our history because we were together, all of us together, not one fight, one argument, one stabbing, one shooting, one robbery. And so to have that energy, that atmosphere, that was a miracle. It was a glance at heaven, truly. So this year, by the Most High's grace, we're getting such a response where we may have to extend it a little bit more, where it'll be a RSVP link, and those who are able to RSVP, it may turn into more like 1,500 or 2,000 teens that will be present this time around for the seminar. But after the day's activity, the night activity will be a fundraising concert, which will be a hip hop detox live, rise up, and follow through. But we'll have a variety of artists, comedians, dancers, performers, and persons who come together for this production that's just geared towards healing and transformation and helping us to see why it's so important for us to follow up and follow through, not only with the 1,000+ young people, but we're calling for 300 men minimum to work with these 1,000+ young brothers all throughout the school year. So when we do the seminars, brother, we do the seminars and we have people like the Chicago chapter, the Tuskegee Airmen, they would come and teach the young brothers about piloting drones and how to get their certification. Well, we don't want you to get that in a mini workshop and not be able to continue on that journey. So we want to be able to set it up where we can have the follow up and the follow through component, which is what happened at the Million Man March. There was many things that was followed up on and followed through on, but it just was undercounted, just like the numbers were purposely undercounted, and it was minimized and marginalized. So we're going to do our best to make sure that that doesn't happen again in our example, our exemplification and demonstration of that spirit of the Most Almighty, which was present at the Million Man March, and we've been blessed to have it present at every Males to Men Empowerment and Mentoring Seminar that we've done thus far. So that's a little bit of what's happening with us as far as on October 16th. But there's going to be a wide array of activities. We have our brother professor, congratulations to our new professor, Lemuel Muhammad. He and his students, they are, we just did an event here in the Chicagoland area, and they covered down on facilitating 3 workshops for the young people, introducing martial arts to them. So we're going to have people like our brother bringing his school to work with the young people. And then we have a variety of different boxers in the Chicagoland area who are Golden Glove coaches who will come to have classes. And then we have those who are dealing with AI and blockchain technology. We have those who are dealing with stress relief strategies to deal with anxiety and anger management. We're dealing with food security, and we have master gardeners that we're connected with that will have workshops on that. And then because we're on a college campus, we're going to have an opportunity for them to understand the collegiate opportunities they have and what they can gain and do while having their college experience, and showing them all the different things they can actually study and actually get their not only degrees, but get the skill sets in those degrees so they can come out of those institutions knowing how to apply as much as possible what they're learning. But then also those who deal with the trades, those who can put them in those training programs and help to employ them, and also teach them how to set up their own businesses if they're doing plumbing or carpentry or HVAC. So we wanted to have a holistic type of experience because Hip Hop Detox Impact is a holistic human development impact. And we utilized one of our elders who passed away. We had a chance to start working with him back in 2009, Dr. Carl Bell. And that's actually part of the flyers that are going out now, that um, we're utilizing the principles of strategic and operational unity, where when we work with each other, we're able to harmonize and synergize the best of what we have. And that's what makes us having strategic and operational unity so powerful, is because we're able to give honor to those who do what they do, and then we work together. We don't minimize each other and put a bushel basket over somebody in hopes to, dampen them or put them away. Our goal is to uplift, because it doesn't take away from us, it adds to us to allow each of us to shine in our own right, because the reality is that it's not our light. This light came from the Most High God. So regardless of land, label, or language, there's one
Yes.
Almighty God. So many of us, when we come together for these kind of purposes, and we have a plan of action that goes beyond the day, then that means we can affect the children or the teenagers in this case, but we also affect the families. We affect the men who are working with these young people, and we affect the institutions from which they may come from, whether it's a school, whether it's a group home, whether it's some type of agency, and these young people are part of that particular institution. But the goal is for us to go forward, and for a minimum of a year, we're able to do the work. So then when we come back the following year, we're able to see the results of what we did, but also a plan of action of how we move forward together, so that we can keep on progressing. So I just gave like a little synopsis of what we're doing. And we do have a call of action for those who want to participate, because we got people in St. Louis who want to participate, people in Milwaukee, people in other parts of the country who know about it, because we've been organizing for a while now. So for those who have an interest and you really want to support and help, you can, first of all, we have a hotline. Our hotline is 773-563-4315. That's 773-563-4315. So when you use that hotline number, we want you to text detox, DETOXX. Text detox. Detox means the removal of poison. At the root of all poisons are lies, half-truths, and myths. So text detox and then submit your email address, so then we can send you directly information, whether it's links, updates, virtual meetings, etc. So then we can work together to organize, whether you want to volunteer that day, whether you have something that you may say you want to present, and we'll see if that could happen either the day of, or before the day of, or after the day of. Because the goal is for us to find ways to impact our youth and impact our young people, not just in Chicago, but all over the country, because we have to be able to educate our people. Because unfortunately, every school that we've gone into since we started doing this work in 2002, we've had to introduce and educate our young people and their parents oftentimes, and remind them about the Million Man March and the legacy of the Million Man March, and what transpired due to the Million Man March, and how it even came into existence. A lot of these things, of course, are not being taught, and not taught in the home, unfortunately, and it's not being taught in the schools. So if we don't get to them with it, if the artists and the filmmakers and all those, if we don't get to them, our people will have history that's only 30 years old written out of existence, because we're not passing along, what it is that we have received. And that's part of our general orders, to receive, obey, and pass on. So we got to follow our general orders on every level. So thank you for asking that question.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. This is phenomenal, and people are showing you love all around the world. We want to know, how can we, you don't want a website or social media, you want us to just text that number.
Well, strategically speaking, when we allow people to text directly, it allows for us to not only manage what it is that's being put out there, but it gives us an opportunity to continue to evolve and develop and grow what we do. Because oftentimes we put information out there prematurely, and it gives too many people an opportunity to play. And so we're not playing games. This is our third annual event. So we didn't just pop up and start doing this. This is our third annual seminar, and we've been doing events for a while now under the designation of Hip Hop Detox. And before Hip Hop Detox came into existence, which I don't know if I ever told you, brother, Hip Hop Detox came into existence as a result of the Millions More movement. When,
Okay.
yeah, when the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan invited D.A. Smart and myself to tour with him, the instruction was, after the Millions More movement, go back to your cities and look at those 10 ministries and then determine which ministry you want to work out in so that
Mm.
you and those that you may have brought could begin doing the work. And so we had 3 buses that we organized while we was on tour. We had the D.A. Smart bus to go to the Millions More movement. We had a A. Philip Randolph bus, and we had a Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. bus. And
Okay. Okay.
so that was the 3 buses that we organized. And I didn't even fly back to DC with DA because they had us to fly. They had tickets for us to fly back. I rode with the buses, and DA flew to DC. And so when we came back from Millions More movement, we met at Carter G. Woodson Library. All this is history. We met at Carter G. Woodson Library with those who were on the bus, and they decided that, you know, we want to help in the next steps. And that's when we said, we're going to continue this work working with the youth, and we're going to focus on the youth. And then the other founder of Hip Hop Detox, Sister Keisha, and I, we sat down and determined that the name that best fits what we do and how we do it would be Hip Hop Detox, because we define hip hop as being truth without boundaries. And that's why it was so important for Hip Hop Detox to be the designation, because it was birthed out of the spirit, the ecumenical energy of the Million Man March, and that energy being concretized from the Million Man March to the Million Women's March, and the Million Family March, and then evolving to the Millions More movement. So, you know, we are a result of that. And so we give honor and praise and thanks for that. And we have to educate everyone really on that, because unfortunately, many today don't think that Black people can be together in any large numbers without somebody coming around and shooting. You know, I'm thankful, you know, something just happened recently here in Chicago. It was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and brother Pastor Father Flager, his church has it's in a residential area. So on the side of his church, a lot of young people gathered for an after party, and about 2 in the morning, they said over 200 plus people out there, and the police was out there, you know, to try to disperse the crowd, and someone came through shooting, and so 17s were shot. I think it was like 17, 18-year-olds, and praise the Most High, no one was killed. But the reality is that, you know, many people just feel like, you know, we're back where we started in the 80s and the 90s, where, you know, you got people who have such a disregard for life because they have not been shown their value, and they haven't been treated the way they need to be treated, that it's a no love situation. So crashing out is the order of the day. And, you know, you got to crash out, you know, get your clout, your respect any way you think you should get it, or get attention. So, you know, whether it was that kind of situation, or if that was a provocateur situation, you know, whatever way it went, you know, there's too many of these things happening all over the country, whether you're talking about St. Louis, Detroit, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa Bay. I mean, you got all over the country, you know, you got all these different things that are happening in small towns and large towns. You have too many of these incidents that are taking place. So the mental health of us as a society, this is a sin-sick nation. This is a nation plagued with mental health issues, whether it's induced by the chemicals and the Percocets and the ecstasies, and us popping pills with fentanyl and lace, you know, blunts with all these different things in it, or people spraying WD-40 and roach spray and all kind of stuff on the marijuana. I mean, it's all kinds of things that are happening, known and unknown, you know, that people are trying to escape. You know, they want to experience an altered state of reality because they don't like the state of reality that they currently reside in. And when they do that, they begin to alter the brain in such a way where it's not easy to rebound from that. And sometimes they get stuck in that, and there's a chemical imbalance that causes a lot of behavior that is very erratic. So I say this just to say that that's why it's so important for us to recognize not just a historical moment and we remembering, it's about demonstrating that spirit and that energy and utilizing it to help us to rise up. But then we got to follow up. We got to follow through.
Beautiful teaching. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Enoch. And thank you, our brother Houston. Thank you for showing love. Thank you to everybody who seems to watch people's podcasts and seems to send a positive energy to our guests. You keep speaking a lot about things that affect the mental health of the community, of our people. Why is mental health such a focus for you?
You know, there's a prayer in the Muslim prayer that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we should repeat 7 times a day. And it's a minimum of 7 times. Sometimes you need it 7 times, 7 times, 7 times a day.
Yes, sir.
I reflect on when I was just processing and I was 19 years of age and I was learning that prayer. It dawned on me a few years ago that at that age, I was saying the prayer, but I didn't define what the word anxiety meant. So you're doing a prayer, you're seeking refuge from anxiety and grief, but I really didn't know what the word anxiety meant. I just said it, but I didn't define it. And when you begin to understand that this is not an issue for just this generation, there's been issues with anxiety since the first African was kidnapped and brought over here and forced to say that his name or her name was something that it wasn't. I mean, you know, I have an ancestor that my great uncle Irvin, may the Most High be pleased with him, he spent 30 plus years of his life researching our history. And he found that there was an ancestor of ours that came from Sierra Leone that was taken, her and her brother, and they were brought to South Carolina, to Charleston, South Carolina, to the port. And she was sold and then brought to Mississippi. It was like Oakville, Mississippi, is where our enslaver brought our ancestor, and they called her name Rhoda. So we don't know what her real name was, but he was able to track back and go through the records. And I mean, he spent 30 years really doing the work. It wasn't no internet at that time. So he had to really go into the offices. He had to go into a lot of places to look up documentation of the Caucasians who put in their will, put in their ledgers, the history of their families and their wealth, because we were considered chattel. So just like you would keep track of your sheep and your cows and your pigs and how many of this you got, they kept track of how many slaves they owned. And so that's how we were able to get from his research our ancestor Rhoda. And so when I think about the anxiety it must have caused her, the grief it must have caused her to be snatched from Sierra Leone, to be snatched and brought over here, and then to be forced to be raped, basically, to produce my other ancestor, Wiley Ward, who then produced my other ancestor, Eli Ward, who then produced my grandfather, Enoch Ward. And then Enoch Ward produced my father, Enoch, and then I came into existence. So that's generational trauma, you know? And so when we begin to understand, you know, genetics and epigenetics and the science that we've been blessed to receive years ago in terms of the chemistry of fear and the breast milk of the women who had to undergo such anxiety and grief and pain, and how that milk and that fear, that chemistry of fear went into the babies. You know, we have to undo all of those knots, all those things that's in us on a cellular level. We have to undo those things. And so mental health has always been part of the program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and what he received from Master Farrakhan Muhammad. It just wasn't called that. It was basically just hitting on it from a root perspective. And then those who came before, sometimes we forget, you know, there's what they call the lost books of the Bible, but the scriptures, you know, whether you're looking at the Essene Gospels of Peace or you're looking at just different scriptures, the scriptures tell you how important it is for us to eat the right food. The Holy Quran tells you to eat the right food. The book of Daniel, think about Daniel, eating the right food produces a certain chemistry in the body and in the brain. The brain is part of the body. The blood bathes the brain. So what we think and what we eat is vitally important. And so it either takes away from our mental health or it helps to build our mental health. So, when we do the work of Hip Hop Detox, that's one of the reasons why we're not considered a social service agency or even just a purely educational organization. We are a public health organization looking at it from the perspective of the World Health Organization's definition of health, which is not just dealing with the lack of wholeness of health in the body because of infirmity or diseases. It's looking at the whole person. That means economically, psychologically, spiritually, mentally, the whole person. That's what health is from a public health perspective. And so that's why when we deal with self first, spirit, mind, emotion, body, how do we holistically elevate, heal, develop self so that we can gain the best out of self so that we can do better for ourselves, our family, and our people. So all of it is part of the principles that are universal. And that's why mental health is such a big deal. In a lot of states around the country, social emotional learning is a mental health mandate. And that's part of our history in terms of doing our work, is that we have to be able to help our people to have balance. And the only way you can help them is that you got to work on yourself and have balance. Because if you don't work to have balance, then when you get into these different situations, you can easily be stimulated or triggered because you're not working on having balance within yourself. So the same thing we do with young people, we have to do with the mentors, we have to do with the educators, we got to do it with the specialists, we got to do with the parents, because we all are part of this cipher or circle of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we have to apply it with ourselves first. And that's why that principle of self first, then others is so important. Self first, then others, what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught and exemplified. And we have to do it more and more and more, because lastly, what we used to get back in the day when, the old folks would say, do as I say, but not as I do. That didn't work for us. So if it didn't work for us, it ain't gonna work today. You can't say do as I say, but not as I do. We can't do the fake it till you make it no more.
Right.
You ever watch that movie Soul Plane? And my man, when Snoop was up there on the plane, and
yes, sir.
Like, you can't fly this plane. He was like, man, I just got the certificate, but I never knew how to fly a plane.
Exactly.
Like I knew how to fly a plane. So no, we can't act like it no more, because people sometimes fake it and they never learn it, and then they can't make it because they faked it for too long. So we ain't gonna fake it till you make it. Nah, we can't do that. We got to be about it. We got to talk about it and be about it so you can exemplify and demonstrate. And then those who are watching and witnessing, they can learn from your example, and not just what you say out your mouth, but what you demonstrate in your everyday practice.
Praise be to Allah. You teaching, Brother Enoch, and thank you so much for this event and for so much for this recognition of the event. Brother Michael Muhammad. Hey, something like Brother Big Mike from Chicago. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate you, Brother Mike. Please get a greeting to you and your family. Alaikum salam, Sister Naima, and everybody who's watching people's podcast. We have a brief 60-second commercial break, and then we got a special surprise with the video of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Some exclusive footage. You all don't want to miss that. And we're coming right back to our guest, Brother Enoch with the Hip Hop Detox. One moment. Here we go. We are grateful for every like, share, subscription, Cash App, as well as every super chat. And we are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Perfect. All right, here we go. All right, there's Enoch. Thank you all very much to everybody who was watching. Also, I wanted to make sure we acknowledge some of the guests that Brother Enoch said. Dr. Naeem Akbar, we've had the honor of interviewing him. Please go back and get that. Look at that interview. The great D.A. Smart, please look at that interview. Go back and look at these interviews so you can hear, so not from the people that he was naming. A lot of the artists that you named, we've interviewed. A lot of the people at all times, is all connecting the dots. So we want to make sure that we go back. It was two other people you said, it'll come to me, but man, I was like, hey, we interviewed them, so people can go back and go through the archives and keep up with everything to stay current, as well as Brother Mike, who was just in the comments.
I may need your help with that too, because we would love to invite Dr. Naeem Akbar to come to Chicago for the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. And so we would love to do that. Professor Griff is already confirmed. He put it on his
Hey,
calendar.
that's Professor Griff.
We got Griff coming. Brother Nuri confirmed he'll be coming to be part of it. Freeway Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross.
Somebody else we interviewed.
Yep, he'll be part of it. So we got quite a few people, and we're waiting for final confirmations. Michael Coyer, the comedian, he's already confirmed to be part of it this year, the 3rd annual seminar and then the concert. And we got a couple of surprises. I'm gonna hold on to the surprises, but we got some, we got some headliners that's gonna be part of it, and we're waiting for other confirmations. But for those who are not familiar with Hip Hop Detox, you can go to the website, which is www.hiphopdetox.org, just to get information about the organization itself. And we are all over social media. So if you go to Instagram, you go to Facebook, Enoch Muhammad, I have a page on Facebook as well. You'll be able to just get information about what we do currently and what we have done. And we do have a YouTube channel as well that have a lot of videos that just show just a lot of the work that we've done, whether it's assemblies, after school programs, talent development programs, productions, et cetera. So we do have quite a bit that's online so you can witness it. But the hotline right now is the best way to get up-to-date information, because there's only certain information we're putting out there for those who want to either volunteer or sponsor or donate. I didn't tell you this part, but because of what's going on around the country and all the different, the energy because of what's coming from the White House and the governor's mansion, and people are just in a uproar about what, they feel like we can or cannot do. We looked at it and said, well, this is the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March, so we have to just rely on ourselves and our people. So we're gonna raise $1 million. Yep, we're gonna raise $1 million to be able to help us do what we have to do for our youth, so that regardless of what the White House deems necessary to do to the Department of Education and how that may affect, all the school systems and everything, we have to find ways to do for ourselves. Because if we gonna continue to wait for people who are in office for, what it is that we need, that's the only resolve we have, then we'll always be in this situation. So we're asking for people, I'll give you the link and I'll send it to you, but we have a couple of fundraisers that we're doing and different activities between now and October 16th and beyond, so that we can continue to do the work regardless of what, people do politically. Because right now we have to rise above that kind of emotion and reliance, so that we can do something for ourselves and our families for generations to come.
Beautiful teaching, brother Enoch. Praise be to Allah. Alaikum salam. Salute to you as well. Let's hope. And our brother Michael from Chicago has a question for you, sir. He says, does Scientology assist with you in your contribution to the community and nation?
Well, we've always had, since the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan connected the Nation of Islam to the work of Scientology, we've always had the connection to the Dianetics tools and the resources that center and focus on Dianetics. So I know language is very important. And so when you consider the mental health state of our people, we have to use some modern technology, and it's not a silver bullet. There's many different technologies that we can use. So we have our brother and sister down in Tuskegee with the SEED program. They're Dianetics auditors, and there's a lot of other people that do it as well. But I mention them because some began learning the science of atonement directly through Reverend Bevel. And so that science of atonement is also part of technology that's geared to help with mental balance, along with the science of self-improvement that the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan was inspired to put out there so that we could get what we need from the study guides. And so I'm just touching on these things to let us know that there are many things out here, many resources, many tools that we can use to help get ourselves in alignment with self, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, because that balance is a process. It's not you're balanced and then you don't never have to recalibrate. No, every day you wake up, you got to get a checkup from the neck up. You got to get a checkup from the neck up. The same way you want to feed your stomach and you say, hey, I want to eat every day or eat every other day, or I'll fast and then I eat. Hey, you got to keep breathing. If you don't keep breathing, you won't be here. So every millisecond of the day, we have to have a checkup from the neck up with our thoughts, so it can be in accord with the actions that we hope to execute. So the answer to your question is yes, yes, and then some.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Excellent response. And thank you, Brother Michael, for the question. The Gentleman's Journals, peace to the God. Thank you very much. Peace to the gods. Thank you for always showing love, Gentleman's Journal. Man, peace to the guys in the earth. All right, here we go. We want to get share an exclusive clip real quick. 1 second. You all will enjoy this. And then, of course, our brother will let us know how this clip came about.
Introduce, or you already on?
This is my gift to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the person of Brother Kahari Lemuel. Love and light.
I'll clothe these words in song anew until you really know it's true. The whole of you I do adore, and every day I love you more and more. There's nothing you can do to change the love in me for you. It's true, I love you, I do. I do. It's true that I love you, I do. Love gave us you, and I'm so glad it did. See, like sunlight pouring through the window pane. When your love came in, my darkness could not stay. forever shall it be. Oh, my love shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by waters of peace and happiness. In this place I know the reason we are blessed is we love you more than words can say. In our own simple, special way, I'll clothe these words in song anew until you really know it's true. It's true. I love you, I do. I do, I do. What love. It's true that I love you, I do. More than words can say, in my own sincere, special way.
Thank you, Brother Don, and thank you, my dear brother. You've lifted my spirit greatly with your song, with your words, and with your artistry, with the cello. I hope that you and I, one day soon, will do a violin and cello duet together.
Be honored.
I would be honored. May Allah bless you, Brother Don, and bless you, my dear brother.
Thank you, sir.
I just want everybody to know, I'm a Don. Just know that, brother Kahari. Like, I ain't know Enoch. Your name was Don. But see, I got a namesake named Don Enoch, right?
That's right.
And so me and Don, we both share the same name. But I learned that a Don is also a person of consequence. And the only reason why I could be a person of consequence is because I met some consequential people, and none, in my opinion, more consequential than this man right here. For I would be one of those not alive physically or mentally if it wasn't for this man right here. So I just want to make sure that this gift, it's not a gift for the moment, it's a gift that's sustained. So all those who may see this, get ready. I'm talking to you, Brother Grayco and Gat Turner and D.A. and Nuri and Wesley. Get ready. We got something coming up. So, you have anything you want to say? No.
Thank you.
I do.
You got something you want to say?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you. I love you, I love you, love you, love you. Oh, just want to tell you I love you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we coming right back to our esteemed guest. Thank you for the exclusive footage. Wonderful. You never know what kind of footage you'll get on people's podcasts. Thank you very much, Brother Enoch. Can you let us know what was taking place right there between the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Well, that was from what I was told. That might have been the first Facebook Live, maybe. We went live on Facebook. This was in 2017 when the minister, he's blessed me to be in a position to allow me to record our meetings, so then I could be very mindful of things that he said and instructions. And when it's funny watching this again. Even it brings up certain emotion every time I watch it and see it, because we were talking about quite a few things prior to that last part. But that last part, let me also say, it clarifies for people who kind of get it mixed up, because my brother Don Enoch, we have the same name, of course, Enoch, but the minister was calling me Don. And so during the hip hop detox at Muhammad University in 2017, he was referring to me as the Don. And so we had a chance to meet with the minister, a lot of the cast members the following day. He communicated. He said, "Hey, I'm not trying to take nothing away from you, Brother Don." He said, "You all are two Dons, and we're not from warring tribes." And so my brother Don Enoch, I love him. That's my brother. And then he said, "You are the Don." And so people were saying, well, that's Enoch the Don. But I know that the true Don, that's how we started this interview, because those persons of consequence that even made it possible for me to even understand the value of my name, because I grew up not even liking the name Enoch, because no one taught me what the name meant. They didn't teach me the significance of it, which is the reality of most of our people. We're not taught the significance of ourselves and why we were birthed into this universe and we were called into existence at this time. We were called into existence. So, we didn't just come and pop up. We're people that are being sent to do a certain type of work at a particular time. And so I take that video as just a reminder of why we have to persevere, and how in the book of James, when it speaks about brothers, we're going through trials of many kinds so that we can perfect our ability to persevere through all the different types of trials and tribulations. And the Quran speaks about the vicissitudes of life. If this is what we're going through, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, and finding ways to, seek refuge in the Most High. Regardless of what comes by day or night, we're still able to keep our eye on the prize and know that our Lord, Savior, and Deliverer came for us. He came for us, and that we're not an accident, that we're here by design. We have a mighty purpose that we got to get acquainted with so we can do our work, because we know the time is at hand. So that video is most definitely a reminder. And for those who saw it on Facebook Live, people were telling me that they just saw it pop up and it just shocked them. Like, that's the minister alive. And so, yeah, it was most definitely a blessing just to have the spirit to be able to do something like that, because that really that's what it was. It was the spirit. And there's so many people that would want to tell the minister sincerely how much they love him, and how much they want to thank him. And so Brother Kahari Lemuel, we're forever thankful for that brother and how Allah used him to transmit that, because that's what many people just wish they had an opportunity just to say to our brother, man, we love you. We love you. We really thank you. Because we wouldn't have families, we wouldn't have life, many of us, if it wasn't for his presence, and the presence that resides in him, because a whole new world is being birthed, because the Most High's appearance in the person is a very real thing. It's not fake. It's very real. It's tangible. But we know that it's that spirit that resides within. So again, it's a blessing, and we thank you for sharing it with those who have watched it just now and those who will watch it, because some people didn't see that, and hopefully we'll get a chance to, show it again and again, because that's a very powerful reminder for all of us.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. People are saying this is on point, and giving fire emojis and the hand emojis. Thank you all very much, everyone. Sister Nia says heartfelt, and thank you to everybody who continues to show love. Sister Auntie, Sister Hope, Brother Musa, Brother Kente, Brother Duke, Sister Miriam, Sister Naima, Brother Michael, Brother Houston Bird, 147 Savage out of Flint, Michigan. Everybody who always shows love to People Podcast, we truly appreciate you all. Yes, sir. Lastly, once again, the phone number, how we can support, and we want to make sure we tap in.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, let me say it to you like this. 773-563-4315. Once again, that's 773-563-4315. Text DETOX, DETOXX, 2 X's. Text that and then submit your email address, so then you can get direct communication regarding the next steps, because we have a lot of activities and events that we're connected to that we really want those, whether you're in the Chicagoland area or outside of Chicago, we want to connect you with. Quick example, our brother, the math doctor, Dr. Shaheed Muhammad, that's our brother, and the Boys to Men conference that our brother did for, I think, at least 7 to 8 years. We were part of quite a few of those. And so we work with our brother because we see the value in each other and we work together. We don't have competition that's crazy with each other. We work together. And so our brother has a Boys to Men retreat that's coming up. And for those who want in the Chicagoland area, you get youth 12 and over, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a $40 entry fee to be part of the Boys to Men retreat, where it's going to be manhood training, survival training, ATV rides, obstacle courses, first aid. And so if you want to go ahead and get your child or your children or group signed up for that, you can email our brother at mathdr12@gmail.com. That's mathdr12@gmail.com. The Boys to Men retreat. Now that's coming up. Let me make sure because he changed the date. June 13th. That's coming up June 13th. So for more information, you call or email Brother Shaheed Muhammad, the Math Doctor. So
Yes,
the Math Doctor is part of the Hip Hop Detox Males to Men Empowerment and Mentoring Seminar. So everybody that we work with, we want to be able to demonstrate how we can work together, because just like Dr. Shaheed, our brother Joshua Muhammad of the People's Podcast, he got a segment in the Hip Hop Detox Live fundraising concert on October 16th.
We're honored, sir. We're honored, sir.
Hey, my brother, hey, he acts, he performs, you know what I mean? You do production, you know, you're doing this wonderful podcast. So why shouldn't we have our brother be featured in the Hip Hop Detox Live? So that's the way we have real brotherhood, family. We can't have just lip service. We can't talk about it and not be about it. Islam is more than just an expression of a handshake. Y'all remember that? It's more than just the expression of a handshake. It's more than just you talking out your mouth and saying things. It's about the demonstration of action. And so I really do appreciate not only my brother, Dr. Shaheed Muhammad, the Math Doctor, and the People's Podcast curator and founder, our brother Joshua Muhammad, but all those mentioned and not mentioned that we have either worked with in the past or we're working with presently, and those that we'll work with in the future, because we all know that, you know, none of us know the hour. So we're here for a short time, but in the time that we're in, we have an opportunity, not just to make history, we want to make generational change and be as impactful as possible so that our children's children will feel the reverberations of the impact. And whether they know our names or not, that is inconsequential. Who cares if they know our name? Know the function of us.
Yes, sir.
Us who said that we were not going to give up and we were not going to sit down and wait until we can't do anything because we took too long to come together, to rise up, to follow up, and to follow through. So this is that time, everybody. You can go to hiphopdetox.org to see our organization's information. You can go to Facebook. You can go to Instagram. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Google and look up Hip Hop Detox. Everything that, I don't want to say everything, but much of what we've done is documented. But the things that the Most High God got for us to do that is not documented, I mean, you want to be part of it, hit that number up. Now, don't call that number. You want to text that number, 773-563-4315. So then you can hit the detox, send your email, and you will get the information that you need, because we will be having a virtual call to action, and we will have an in-person call to action coming up very soon in the city of Chicago as we march forward to October 16th, the 30-year anniversary of the Million Man March and the Holy Day of Atonement and the Day of Service. And this year, the mental health day that we need to be able to reconcile our differences within ourselves. Because mentally speaking, we got too much gang banging going on inside of ourselves, Brother Joshua. It's like R. Kelly got that song where he said, my mind is telling me no, but the body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's a war going on inside of self. So the spirit is telling the mind to shut up, and the body is telling everybody to go to hell. The emotions are just all over the place. So we got to have unity within self. So then unified selves can work together to help work and stop crashing out.
Beautiful teaching. Praise be to Allah. This is excellent. And I want to make sure that we get this to everyone, everybody who's watching. We continue to Make sure to show love to one another and to Hip Hop Detox. We look forward to the upcoming event, and inshallah, we're only in June, so we will speak to you hopefully before leading up to October many times and many more guests, just so that we can constantly keep it on all of the viewers' mind what is coming up, the importance of it, and how we can support. So thank you again, sir. May Allah shout out to your family as well.
Yes,
Salute
sir.
to
Yours too, my brother. And
family.
please tell Brother
Yes, sir.
Sharif I love him and give him the greetings.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir, we will do. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum